Me Old Husband. Chapter 3 Freshman Orientation Day. Is 20 minutes enough? Sophia blushed as the words lingered by her ears. Michael thought about it seriously. 20 minutes is too short. In the end, he still decided to deal with the matter first. They were married after all, and they could wait. But the incident in Europe couldn't wait any longer. After he exhorted Daniel and Hale on some matters, he rubbed Sophia's messy hair and left in a hurry, leaving her, who was holding a bowl dumbfoundedly, behind. Hale sent Sophia to the top villa neighborhood of the Bayside city, the Imperial, after sending Michael away. The Imperial was located in the city center, and the price of properties there was high. The Imperial was the best neighborhood around, and it only had 10 villas. Each villa came with a huge garden, parking spaces, and even water fountains. The market value of those villas were hundreds of millions, and the owner of the neighborhood had an extraordinary background. Sophia was astonished as she stood before the huge and gorgeous villa, which looked just like a European castle. The villas here were built by the boss company, and he kept 2 for himself. This is villa number 8, and if you don't like it, you can stay in villa number 1, which is a courtyard house. It is opposite an ancient palace, where you can visit whenever you are free, explained Hale. This is the boss credit card, which is unlimited. This is another card, which has around 7 to 8 million in it. You shall spend all of it before he returns. Sophia didn't know how else to react other than being dumbfounded. She could tell that her life would be completely different from now on. A year later, it was September, mid-autumn, and it was Bayside University's Freshman Orientation Day. Bayside University was the top university in Sethos, and it had nurtured countless elites across different industries in the world. Students who were enrolled into Bayside University were all intelligent, had top results, and were top students from each city across Sethos. Getting into Bayside University was Sophia's goal, and her life would change as long as she got into that university. That was the only way she could turn her life around. However, she was expelled from school, and no school was willing to take her on her last high school year despite the fact that she had excellent results and could get into Bayside University as long as someone provided her food and a bed in an 8-person dormitory. The entrance of Bayside University was crowded on the first day, with luxurious cars coming in and out, causing a traffic jam. Shuttle buses were also traveling slowly from the entrance to different schools. Suddenly, a Yamaha motorbike drove past the shuttle buses. The girl on the bike lowered her body and grabbed the handles firmly, just like an agile leopard. Her dark, curly hair fell on her waist, and she was wearing a crop top, showing her slender waist. Her abs were tempting, and her tight, leather trousers made her look thin, tall, and extremely wild. People in the shuttle bus looked toward the girl riding the motorbike. Bayside University was the top university of Sethos. It was a serious and dignified place. The sudden appearance of a wild girl became a wow factor, and everyone started asking about the background of that student. The motorbike then stopped at the parking booth outside the university's hall. The girl came down from the motorbike, and she revealed her gorgeous, fair face. Sophia locked her motorbike, took her sunglasses off, and walked toward the hall as she spun the keychain in her hand. All freshmen had to attend the freshman orientation in the hall. Too much happened in the past year, and she seemed to have changed completely. She was now cool, confident, and was no longer that nerd who did nothing other than studying. She also got into Bayside University, as she wished. It is finally time to meet some acquaintances. I wonder how those people who framed me are doing now. I am actually quite eager to find out. No one would have the courage to miss Bayside University's Freshman Orientation Day. The hall was soon fully seated. Thousands of students were enrolled. And they all came from across the country. Some of them were students from middle-class families, while some were well-dressed individuals from rich families. Other than top students, Bayside University also admitted a batch of noble students. Their results might not be as good as the others, but they could be enrolled as long as their family paid a school maintenance fee of 6 to 7 digits. Sophia simply found a seat and sat down. She was attracting attention with her revealing crop top and her gorgeous face with light makeup on. She heard a commotion soon after she sat down. "Richard is here. The one from the Harper family, who has got a high score of 736 in the exam. Isn't he in year 2? Why is he attending the freshman orientation? Gosh. Richard is hot." A handsome man, who was in a black suit, walked into the hall slowly like Prince Charming with everyone's attention on him. He was the eldest son of the Harper family, the real estate tycoon in South Bayside City. The full marks for the college entrance exam was 750, and Richard got 715. He was born rich, had outstanding abilities, and was handsome. Hence, he was immediately popular in the university. He was also Sophia's ex-boyfriend, but it was a long time ago. Sophia looked up at that man who was in the middle of the attention, and she smiled viciously. Richard was walking over gentlemanly, enjoying people's attention. He was calm and cool, almost perfect. Suddenly, he felt a familiar gaze among the crowd, but when he looked around, that gaze disappeared. He thought he saw Sophia. Sophia, his ex-girlfriend. They had a promise to get into Bayside University together and get engaged after they graduate. But he never expected her to betray him, get together with another man, and even get pregnant. Richard looked down and removed Sophia from his mind. A girl that sacrificed her body in order to climb the social ladder didn't deserve his love. "Richard, you are here," a melodious voice rang. A girl, who was in a knee-length skirt, ran toward him like a joyful fairy jumping into Prince Charming's embrace. All the other girls gasped out of jealousy. Richard's eyes were filled with gentleness when he looked at the fairy-like girl. The girl was as pure as a fairy. She was born with a silver spoon and knew nothing about evil. She was kind, innocent, and was completely different from girls like Sophia, who would sacrifice their body to achieve their goals. "Only girls like this suit me." The girl was the precious daughter of the family who owned Huff's Technology. Xylla Huff. She was a perfect match for Richard Harper, and they were getting engaged soon. Another girl, who looked classy, held Richard's other arm happily as she spoke coquettishly. "Richard, you shan't forget your sister after getting a girlfriend. You know." Richard looked at his sister, Kayla Harper, affectionately. "My 2 princesses invited me, so of course I would come." The combination of such handsome and gorgeous individuals attracted everyone's attention. They sat down under others' jealous gaze. The boys were jealous of Richard's background and ability. He was only in year 2, yet he was already an important member in his family business. Meanwhile, the girls were jealous of the 2 girls standing next to Richard for having such a perfect boyfriend and brother, and they wished they could take their place. The freshman orientation soon started. The chairman started speaking, and everyone started dozing off. But no one dared to leave. In fact, the vice-chancellor was sitting in the first row. Xylla and Kayla started whispering. They talked about jewelry and fashion. Just then, Xylla sighed pretentiously and asked, "Richard, do you think Sophia got into Bayside University too? Will we still see her? She is good at studying, and it should be easy for her to get into Bayside University." Richard looked disgusted. Before he could speak, Kayla scoffed. Her pregnancy scandal was huge, and no school was willing to take her in after she was expelled. Would that poor girl be able to pay for the tuition fee anyway? The Harpers had always disliked Sophia and didn't want Richard to be with such girls. There were too many girls like her, who wanted to marry Rich. Kayla despised her, and her words were filled with disgust. Kayla, don't say that. Sophia must have had her reasons. It might not be what we thought it was, Xylla said enthusiastically. Richard shook his head and rubbed Xylla's nose lovingly. You are always this kind. Richard, Xylla blushed like a shy deer. She looked pure and innocent. And it was what Richard liked the most about her. Just then, they heard a clear voice from the speaker. Let us welcome our student representative, Sophia Edwards, from the School of Business Management and Economics. A tall, confident girl walked on stage and stood before the thousands of freshmen. Her revealing crop top made her stand out among the group of nerds and rich young ladies. It felt as if she was glowing when the spotlight hit her. Welcome to download Bravonovel app to read the full story of my Dreamy Old Husband novel online.